and 3 and 2 and 1. We did it, family. We are freaking live. Welcome to Happy Crumpin'. I am totally pumped up and excited to see everyone here tonight. Basically, what we're going to be talking about is we're talking about the Dark Angels. We're talking about the Blood Angels. And we're here to figure out which one is actually suiting the meta better and what are the unique strengths and weaknesses of each army and why you should be playing, well, honestly, both, because they're both actually pretty freaking great. I'm just currently putting the final touches on my World Champions list right now, which is I'm kind of figuring out. So I'm putting the final touches there, and tonight's I'm just kind of doing a talk through, which is going to try to kind of get my head right. And I figured I'd share all this with you guys so that you can get your heads right when it comes to preparing for tournaments, playing Warhammer, speaking about wisdom, and of course, enjoying a nice cold Guinness. This is not sponsored by Guinness, but it could be if any of you reps are out there checking it out. So tonight will, of course, be a Guinness night because it's a glorious Saturday night, and I'm really thrilled to have all of you beautiful people hanging out with me. We got, ooh, oh man, is that Simon? Simon, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in the chat, man. And we got Max Von Rosa, who's going to go ahead and start us off with Dark Angels player, and he thinks Blood Angel are a little better, but it's just him. So guys, I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be comparing characters. I'm going to be comparing units. More importantly, I'm really going to be comparing like how do the armies perform in the current meta, and that's really what the nitty gritty that I want to get down into. And by the way, if you don't know how to pour a Guinness, you always go upside down and then into the cup. So it's always better. If you don't do it this way, you're a heathen, and you should get yourself fixed. So we'll just get that thing poured out for me so I can settle on in here. Hope you guys are having a great freaking evening, and I hope everyone had an awesome day. I know we certainly did. I went to the gym. I hit a freaking 190 kilos on my back squat. Freaking pumped. And now I'm going to talk about some nerd stuff. So let's get into this thing, man. For the first thing that we generally see people talk about, and by the way, if you guys have questions, if you have thoughts, I'm feeling really squirrely. I'm happy to even hop on TTS and explain things to people if you guys got questions. My daughter's asleep. I'm here to party, so feel free to hop on in. Oh my goodness, Mass Brofek kicking us off, you beautiful, beautiful man. Blood Angels, feel free to end the stream now. Well, you're half right. There's some truth to what you said, but there's a little more nuance to it than that, home slice. But yeah, guys, so I'm happy to like just do stuff tonight. So feel free to like pop in with some questions. Super chats are blessedly appreciated. I really probably should have had a goal here because we got Atlanta coming up, so we're working on making sure we fund that trip. So yeah. Anyway, let's freaking get into it, man. First thing that I really want to address, like, and this is just a big deal. I really, really want to talk about. Oh man, what happens? All right, I really want to talk about what happens when people read win rate. And if you go off of win rate, it actually is as simple as just saying Blood Angels are better. But it is not that simple. I actually hate win rate as a metric for seeing what armies are good. Win rate is a useful metric for seeing the overall picture of how many players are good with a particular army, or how many players are successful with a particular army is probably a much better way of saying it. But like last I checked, Dark Angels were sitting around a 42% win rate. Dude, the war crimes I've been committing with Dark Angels recently, it's just not reflective. It's just not the truth. Blood Angels are sitting right at that 51%. I'm sitting at like a 74%, I think, last time I checked on my Blood Angels. So it's like, it's not reflective of how good the faction is. It's reflective on how large the population at large is being successful with the faction. I will say Dark Angel has much less room for error than a lot of your Blood Angels armies right now. But saying that it's simply win rate is the determining factor, it's just not true. So before we get any deeper, I will 100% happily admit to you that the Blood Angels have a better win rate out there, and that really means approximately 0 to me. So there you have it. Yeah. Oh, look at you guys. Oh man, we got Mr. Mick in the chat too. It's so exciting to have you guys all here with me. I'm really freaking pumped up. Thanks for everybody choosing to spend your Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening with me. Oh, there will be a battle, sir. We will be battling about wits, and we will be battling about philosophy and all sorts of things. So let's talk about section 1. We got the characters here. And this is a really, really big problem for a lot of people, because I think this is one of the defining metrics of Warhammer right now. How good are your characters in your respective chapter? So right off the bat, Dark Angels, you know you're talking about the Lion. And the Lion is a defining character for the faction. If you guys are not using the Lion correctly, oof, I've got so much to teach you. The Lion, so actually the reason why I even started thinking about Dark Angels is because the Lion does things very similarly to how I use the Sanguinor and Blood Angels. And I think the Sanguinor is one of the strongest, is one of the best characters in the entire game. The only reason he didn't make my top 10 list the other day is because he's 140 and he probably should be at that 120 to 130 point level. Um, so yeah, so the Lion's actually, because he can do similar things to what the Sanguinor does, is actually what attracted me to Dark Angels. So let me go ahead and break down the Lion for you guys. Fights first, 16 attack sweep attack, which strength 6, AP 3, amazing damage 2 with sustained hits, or 8 attacks at lethal, strength 12, AP 4, damage 4. And because of his auras, he's pretty much always going to have reroll ones to hit and wound, which means he never needs Oath of Moment. And if you guys know anything about the way I like to build lists, I like to build my list without needing Oath of Moment. Guinness break. Marvelous. So I like my list to have as little requirement for Oath of Moment as possible. So I get to use Oath of Moment because I want to, not because I have to have it. So straight off the bat, massive, massive damage output. 4 up aura of Feel No Pain against mortals. Massively important. Massively important. Because that just, there are so many like little nibbles out there. Like if you're, especially if you're one of those Eldar players or someone like that, you're just always taking little nibbles out of your opponent's army. But when you have that aura of 4 up against mortals, you're not doing those little nibbles. Suddenly, instead of the swooping hawk spiking and killing an entire Deathwing Knight just because they move near you, they deal 1 wound to you. That's a dramatic difference than what they're doing into other armies. Like if I'm playing Blood Angels and a swooping hawk squad wants to fly by me, they just pick up a sanguinary guard, and it's brutal. And then lastly, it's his freaking mobility. And most people are still not quite grasping this. So I'm going to break this down in extreme detail for everyone right now. And actually, you know what? Maybe I'll even load it up on TTS so that you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I actually think that'll be valuable. So here, I'm just going to shift my screen real quick just so I can show you guys this so that everyone's going to have a good grasp of how this operates. So I'm just going to load in the line here, and I'm going to show you exactly how his teleport works. So I know some of you guys know this, but a lot of people don't. So I want to make sure the entire world understands this so that people stop saying it wrong, basically, because people say it wrong a lot, and they should stop saying it wrong. All right, so let me load in my just a random army here. Here, actually, it's just the lion. Oh, okay. I have an army here. So the lion, he has the ability to go into reserves in your command phase, which is, I think it's the only ability worded like that in the game. That means if I go first, I can pick this guy up, put him in reserves in my command phase. Mind you, I get to choose 2 auras. And then I don't have to bring him down. A lot of those abilities are worded, you have to bring him down your next reinforcement step. It's not worded that way. So I can just put him in reserves. And then at the end of my opponent's turn 1, I can rapid ingress him, yes, in turn 1. And you can set up nonsense like this. Like I could just have Deathwing Knight, say, standing here on a GW8. And then I just rapid ingress my lion in right here, as long as he's outside of 9 of my opponent. And now he's lone opt, so if he's also outside of 12 inches, boom, I'm just guaranteed to score primary in turn 2, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. It's so powerful. On the other hand, let's say I turn 1 Deep Strike with my Deathwing Knights, I can also rapid ingress him down. Now within lone up era, I have too much OC on here, you can't grab it from me, and if you charge my Deathwing Knights with something really scary, I'll just heroically intervene with the lion and then destroy you turn 1. So it's a super, super effective way of playing the game, and it's why I think people just have to understand what the lion does. I won't talk quite as much detail about some of the other guys, but it's a really, really big deal. And the main reason, guys, that he can do this turn 1 is because he did not start the game in reserves, so he's not restricted by the limitation that's saying that if your unit starts in reserves, they can't arrive via Deep Strike until turn 2. There's no restriction on him because he starts the game on the table. All right. I just had tons and tons of questions, even in the Discord as well. So I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. All right. Anyway, Azrael, he has the second best combat buff in the entire game. He gives sustained hits, 4 invulnerable save, to his unit, a once per game fort, feel no pain against mortals. So Dark Angels just don't care about mortals. And then he also generates CP. Mwah, amazing character, and I think most people run him wrong. If you're running Azrael, I highly encourage you to run him with a combat unit, whether it's going to be 6 ICC, 3 ICC, Blade Guard vets. I don't care. Even Stern Guard are actually relatively reasonable because when Stern Guard, suddenly you can reroll, go into the mode moment target, reroll fishing for the sustained hits, reroll the wound rolls with your sustained hits, fishing for devastating wounds. Don't forget Azrael has devastating wounds on his gun as well, and then in melee, get reroll wound rolls as well. So he's great with Stern Guard, great with ICC, great with these guys. So many times I see people take Azrael and just put him with like just some assault intercessors, and it's such a waste of his potential because he multiplies people so much more. This is where Dark Angels start to fall off, though, because when it comes to Asmodai, what are their other characters? Asmodai, Ezekiel, Samael. I mean, Samael is reasonably good at certain points in time, like reasonably okay, but and he does hit hard. Like you lead him with Outriders, okay, he can advance and charge. His probably the best place that you can take him is either in Company of Hunters, which is a legit very good detachment, or it's going to be in actually really enough the Lion's Task Force, Lion's Blade Task Force, which is not a good detachment, but he becomes a monster in that detachment. So we're just not going to see Samael that much, even though he is objectively a relatively good character. But then like Asmodai, okay, Asmodai is cool. He gets 4 rerolls to hit to the unit, but you really want to lead ICC with him. But then if he's leading ICC, they don't get a fort pinfall, and it's like, eh. So Asmodai is like, eh, he's okay. And then you don't really have any specific Dark Angels characters outside of the Ravenwing Command Squad for generics. And Ravenwing Command Squad is another one of those very, very like contingently good units because they can resurrect an Outrider or a Black Knight. The champion can get to like damage 3 with their attached to Outriders. So there's some cool things they can do. I personally hate bikes, so I don't rate them that highly, but that doesn't mean they absolutely suck. Now, so basically, when we get to Dark Angels, you got Azrael and the Lion, which are incredible characters, unbelievably incredible characters, and everyone else is kind of eh. But when we start talking about Blood Angels, now for all you Blood Angels lovers out there, I'm on your team here, okay? Every Blood Angel character, almost, is freaking insane. They're all crazy. And by the way, I see you guys in the chat, like, saying, keep up the great content and everything. I love you all. Thank you so much for it. Like, your support, blessings. It's amazing, man. This is why I really like to keep bringing out with the Warhammer content for you guys, because I just love all the positivity and support out there. Even a little bit of negativity is okay every now and then too. So I just thank you guys for hanging out and everything. Anyway, let's start talking about some of these Blood Angel characters. One thing I see so many people getting freaking wrong is Dante. I hear all over the internet right now, people are saying, oh, well, Dante's freaking useless now that Sanguinary Guard hit on 2s natively. Such a bad take, in my opinion. Dante is amazing for the exact same reasons that he was previously amazing. If anything, the only difference here is that Dante is now free to do other things. He doesn't have to lead your Sanguinary Guard. Listen to what I'm saying. Dante solo by himself, if you're playing Liberator Assault Group, and it changes a little bit in other detachments, he will one-tap a War Dog solo by himself. He's wounding them on 2s when you give him a strat. He has built-in Lance, AP3, they're saving on 6s. He one-taps a War Dog by yourself. That is freaking insane, okay? That means you don't have to attach him to a character, to a unit. So the Sanguinary Guard getting buffed and now hitting on 2s actually is a buff for Dante because now you can use him differently depending on what matchup you're on. If you're playing into Chaos Knights and you need the super hitting power of the 6-man Sanguinary Guard brick and Dante, great, you attach him to lead the 6-man. And his +1 to advance and +1 to charge is still critically freaking important. But if you're running into, oh, I don't know, Eldar, do you guys ever see Eldar in the meta? It's really freaking useful to have a separate unit that can just go out and do things and be expendable and kill stuff. So you cannot attach him in those matchups. So his flexibility has increased from the Sanguinary Guard's buffs. So he's only gotten better. The guy's got a sustained hits, melt a gun. The guy's got freaking great a melee. The guy has a 6-inch aura of Battle Shock, which if you guys don't use that aura, what are you doing? You can put him behind a ruin, and if your opponent tries to score area denial and they happen to be, then they're going to have to be within your 6-inch aura, and they fail that battle shock at -1, they don't get area denial. Like there's just so many amazing freaking things that Dante does. Goodness gracious, I love him. I see Enro in the chat right now saying he loves Dante solo, and I love you, sir, because that is the correct decision. You should love Dante solo, but I also love him attached. I also love him attached. And then he was also asking, he doesn't know about Azrael Sternguard. It's really, really good. But no, they don't have but you don't know much about Necrons. Do they have lots of deep strike? Necrons has some deep strike. Deep strike. It's some deep strike. Anyway, let's talk about Mephiston, or as I like to call him, McFiston. Go on McFiston in. This dude. Oh my gosh, I do not understand why Blood Angel players don't run him more often. He is the best lone op in the game. Like, he is the best lone op in the game. Native advance to charge. Hits at strength 9 at AP freaking 3, D3 damage natively. He has fights first, 2 up armor save, 5 up invulnerable save, 4 up freaking Feel No Pain. This guy is stunning. Absolutely stunning how freaking powerful Mephiston is. For only 120, it's bonkers. I use Mephiston this way. I run him up onto an objective early on in the game, and I have him stand there. If my opponents want to kill Mephiston, they have to dedicate something very serious at him. I'm talking a 185-point Vindicator with Oath of Moment series to kill Mephiston. Because he's going to be in cover, because whether he's wholly within terrain or I rotate his stupid cape to give him cover, that means he's going to be saving on a 4-up against a Vindicator cannon at AP3. I'm going to spend 1 CP to give him Armor Contempt, and now he's saving on a 3-up. He's got 6 wounds with a 4-up Photo Pain. He won't die to a freaking Vindicator with Oath of Moment, which means your opponent is going to have to dedicate minimum 185 points to deal with your 120-point unit. They can't charge him with Chaff, like Stormboys can't charge him. What are Stormboys going to do if they charge Dante? Mephiston, excuse me, let me use his Christian name. He's just going to be like, away with ye peasants, and he will annihilate these freaking nerds. So Mephiston is unbelievably valuable. The best way for your opponent to deal with him is just to not deal with him. And no one's going to not deal with him because they don't want you scoring freaking primary for free every single turn or doing free secondaries for free all the turn. He's also great for bodyguarding your other units. So if people want to charge JPI or Alpha Strike you, you heroic with Mephiston and then he causes problems. It's just beautiful. Lamarte's an Astaroth. While Astaroth is the most beautiful model like ever, honestly, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I said it. I think both Lamarte's and Astaroth actively make the units they lead, namely the Jump Pack Death Company, worse than what the generic character is. The generic character either being the Jump Chaplain or the Death Company Captain with the Jump Pack. Both of those models make Death Company better than they are when they're led with Lamarte's and Astaroth. Now, Lamarte's, there's a little bit of an argument if you really want to increase the durability of a 10-man. But, like, what doesn't kill a 10-man squad of Marines with -1 damage? I don't know what it is. Like, pretty much everything skills that entire squad. I mean, what you're telling me is like, okay, cool. Now that squad can be seen by a double Gatling cannon despoiler out in the open, and they only lose 8 models instead of the entire squad. It's like, it just doesn't matter. The things that are going to kill that squad are going to kill that freaking squad anyway. So, which is a shame because I used to love Lamarte's back in Index days. But then we get into the DC Captains. Now, the DC Captain is an incredible model. Incredible generic character that you can run. This dude is such a freaking Chad. When he gives sustained hits to a unit of Death Company, then you spend 1 CP to give them lethal. They don't need Oath of Moment. They fish for sustained and lethal. This one squad will one-tap a Greater Demon by themselves for, I think it's 185 points total. Am I right? 120 plus 75? No, 195. 195 points total, and you'll one-tap a Greater Demon. I mean, not the Greater Unclean one who has the Feel No Pain, but all the other Greater Demons, the one-tap. And that's just bonkers value. And then if they don't kill the thing, when you kill the Captain, he'll just blow up and kill you. It's really glorious. It's really, really glorious. My favorite thing to do is to run that guy into, like, Canis Rex. And then Canis Rex kills him, and then he screams, Horus! And blows up and kills Canis Rex. It's amazing. It's one of the most glorious things ever. So they are just amazing generic characters. And then the Sanguinor, who, by the way, if you guys don't understand the way that they use the Sanguinor, I'm going to explain it right now in detail, and you're never going to forget this, okay? The Sanguinor is not there to kill your enemy. The Sanguinor is there to screw up pile-ins. My best skill in Warhammer, the skill that I catch literally every opponent, it doesn't matter if I'm playing the Art of War guys, it doesn't matter if I'm playing at the WTC against some of these teams, I catch people with this stuff all the time. I am really, really good at pile-ins, and consolidates. And the Sanguinor is the easiest tool in the world to manipulate pile-ins and consolidates. Pile-ins and consolidates are my bread and butter, and the Sanguinor, oh my gosh, listen to this. You have, I don't know, a 6-man unit of Death Shroud Terminators who do their stupid 6-inch deep strike charge, and they roll a 6, and they make it into engagement with Dante and the 6 Sanguinary Guard, and you know for a fact that your entire squad is completely wiped now. No, no, no. Because now the Sanguinor comes down, and you just make sure the Sanguinor is the closest model to as many of those Death Shroud Terminators as possible, which forces all of the Death Shroud Terminators to pile in closer to the Sanguinor, not to the Sanguinary Guard, meaning only one or two of the Death Shroud Terminators actually get to hit the Sanguinary Guard. Sure, the Sanguinor will die, but you don't care because now your entire Sanguinary Guard squad, or maybe like one model dies instead of the entire squad being wiped, and then they pile in, wreck faces into the Death Shroud, fallback charge in the next turn, and the game is over. So his job is to screw up pile-ins and consolidates for your opponent. Keep that in mind, remember it, and you'll love him forever. So basically, when I'm going through characters, guys, I got a lot of love for some of the Dark Angels characters. I got a ton of love for the Blood Angels characters. I do, in fact, believe the Blood Angels win this one. I think the Blood Angel characters are just straight up better than what the Dark Angels can bring. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the Lion or Azrael. I love them, but the Blood Angels just have more characters that are freaking awesome. So the verdict is Team PA. So Mask Effect, you're freaking welcome. I love you. You're kind of right. They definitely win the character battle. So the next one is unique freaking units. Unique units. Yeah. Oh, we got Burning Cola. Hey, Burning Coal. He says, "Let's go. I finally made it to a live stream." Well, we're really happy you made it to a live stream. We love you. Um, and Mark's Vrosa, yeah, Lazarus and Belial are so bad they're not even here, bro. They're not real. They're myths. They're out there in the ether somewhere. They're hanging out with like Corvus Corvax while he's hunting Lurgar in the warp. But Lazarus and Belial don't exist. They're not real. I refuse to believe it. All right, so let's talk about the unique units. Dark Angels, Deathwing Knights. You all know what they are. You all hate them. You don't hate them enough, especially if you're running into someone who's playing them in Wrath of the Rock, where they're -1 to be wounded. You don't hate them enough. They're so good. They've been a menace the entire edition. Their -1 damage has just been so powerful. Then when you run them in Wrath of the Rock, you also add a -1 to wound modifier on them. Oof, they're absolutely brutal. Now, personally, this is just a little bit of a side. What I've been doing, here's your greatest weakness. So if you're playing against them or if you're playing as them, here's the greatest weakness of your Deathwing Knights. You have to recognize that the best way to beat them is to not fight them. So the easiest way to neuter a unit of Deathwing Knights is to put a 40-point unit of Gretchen on the same objective as them, because then those Deathwing Knights are useless. They're not scoring the primary, they're not doing anything for you. And that is a very, very big problem. 5-man unit of Scouts, 5-man unit of JPI, it doesn't matter. Tie them on OC, make sure that they're neutered and they're not doing anything. You don't have to kill them. You just got to OC them. Hence, which is why Wrath of the Rock is so amazing, because you can't actually stop them, because they'll just charge you, which is so freaking strong. It's brutally strong, actually. So for me, though, if I'm trying to make Deathwing Knights even better, I like to counter that, and I give them the freaking Ancient and Terminator armor. People tell me it's a meme. No, it's not a meme. Making that unit OC12 means that the strongest counter to them no longer works. You can't just put units in them and not OC them. That's really freaking good, dude. That's really darn good. Another thing to understand about Deathwing Knights is they're not made for killing monsters and vehicles. Even though their weapons have the anti-monster vehicle 4-up keyword, they're not actually good at killing monsters and vehicles. They just kind of suck. They really suck, actually. So if you do it, like the math on it, like a 250-point unit of Deathwing Knights, do not kill a 140-point War Dog, which means they're bad at killing monsters and vehicles. Having the anti 4-up keyword means that they just can punch up into vehicles if they have to. That's all it means. And in your head, that's what I want you to remember from now on. Okay, anyway, Ravenwing Black Knights. Ravenwing Black Knights are actually pretty cool. I think the only place I would ever really run them would be in Company of Hunters. But they're kind of cool. You get these plasma talons on them. I think they're just a little too expensive, honestly. I just think they're a little too expensive for me to run them. They get like devastating wounds when they charge against monsters and vehicles, which is kind of cool, but they don't have the actual attack output to really make that matter, and they're mounted, which makes them very hard to maneuver. So maybe if you're playing in Lion's Blade, where you can phase through walls, or you're playing Company Hunters where they get the advanced charge, okay, I can see them there. Stormlands, of course. But generally speaking, I think they're a very lackluster unit that needs new models and new rules. Hey, we got Scary in the chat. What's up, Scary? Nice to see you, buddy. I'm gonna see you in Atlanta really soon, actually. We'll do a little cheersy poo there. And then we got the Inner Circle Companions. Now, the Inner Circle Companions are freaking melee powerhouses. If you guys don't know this unit, you need to get very intimately familiar with this unit. I love it in Wrath of the Rock because this unit is always -1 to be hit. In Wrath, they get the -1 to be wounded. You attach Azrael to them, which I recommend you do. They get a 4-up invulnerable save and a once per game 4-up Feel No Pain. And then suddenly they're going to get sustained hits on top of their lethal hits. It's 4 attacks each with sustained and lethal, strength 6, AP 2, damage 2. Disgusting. Oh, now, Scary, are you saying Atlanta BB intentionally, or did you mean to type an 8 and then a B? You're not going to go World Eaters when you get a freaking Drukhari Codex out there, are you? Come on, you got a brand new Drukhari Codex. Defend your honor. Destroy. I'm excited to see your Drukhari shenanigans. Actually, I think Drukhari are going to be really disgusting right now because no one has any idea how to play into them yet. And I think they're actually going to do crazy good. I've been studying up on them because I think we're going to see a lot of them. So anyway, the ICC, beautiful, beautiful freaking unit. And then we can talk about some of the Blood Angels units as well. Blood Angels units here. Sanguinary Guard, 2-up armor, invulnerable, 2-up armor save, 4-up invulnerable save, moves 12. It's a flying custodian. What's not to love? With a new spear upgrade, so the spears get the 4 attacks and they get lance on the charge. At 260, done. They're freaking awesome. They're so good. However, there's a trick that you have to understand with Sanguinary Guard. Sanguinary Guard serve very different roles, whether they're going to be like in 3-mans or 6-mans, because they're actually not very good at killing infantry. Now, if they have swords, they go to the AP3, which means most of your infantry doesn't get an armor save against them, which is cool, but they don't actually quite have the volume of attacks to actually kill an infantry squad. Even with 12 attacks with a 3-man squad, going into a squad of like guardsmen, 12 attacks hitting on 2s, killing on 2s, you're going to miss 2 on the attack roll, and you're going to miss 1 on the wound roll, which means your 125-point unit does not kill a 65-point unit of infantry. So you have to understand how to actually use them, and they're not made for killing infantry. They're pretty good at doing elites when they're in large squads. They're really good at killing like medium toughness vehicles, but they're not good at killing like knights, right? So it's knowing about how to use them. Their job is to activate multiple times. It's really the elite profile, not putting them into chaff and stuff, and not really putting them into super tough stuff. But Sanguinary Guard are freaking amazing. The -1 to be hit, -1 to be wounded in melee makes them super frustrating to deal with because they're so fast. They can generally avoid being shot, and you typically have to charge them, which is really not great. Then we get the Death Company. Death Company, I still think are too expensive, but having 1 unit is really interesting because they can go out for, call it, 65 points cheaper than a Sanguinary Guard unit of 6. And so you just take 5 with the Death Company captain and then go nuke a Greater Demon and then die. There's value to that. So I see a lot of value in 1 unit, maybe even 2 units of Death Company. They have the innate rerolls, so you don't need Oath of Moment for them. Oh my goodness. Oh, you don't need Oath of Moment on them. That's brilliant. Now, the problem with the Death Company Marines is I think they really kind of suck when they're not Liberator Assault Group. They only work in Liberator Assault Group, whereas their Sanguinary Guard work really good in Angelic Inheritors. And, I mean, if you were to be brave and run them in one of the other detachments, they would still work there. But I think the Death Company are really only particularly valuable in your Liberator Assault Group when they get the +2 strength, the +1 attack. And then lastly, the Ball Predator. If you don't play Ball Predators, oh my god. Ball Predators are amazing. If I could run Ball Predators in Dark Angels, I like to use my Ball Predators, my big red Furious Balls. I like to use my big old red Furious Balls. I like to drop them on the table. I like to drop 2 of them on the table, if it were. And what I do is I take these bad boys, and I use them as if they were melee bullies. I advance them up the board. I roast the crap out of something. Sometimes I might even spend a CP to give them advance and charge, and then I'll charge in and tank shock to finish off a crappy unit. And then in my opponent's turn, I'm going to overwatch the crap out of a unit, and they're going to be forced to bring out their anti-tank to kill my Ball Predator, which means their anti-tank is now going to be exposed to my anti-tank in the back lines. A Ball Predator is such a freaking valuable unit. It's one of the most valuable units in the game, in my opinion. They're so freaking good. So all of this being said, and then I'm going to get to check chat for a second. So all of this being said, both of these armies have really good, unique units. I will say, I think I'm going to give it to the Dark Angels the edge here because their unique units are all better in multiple detachments. Whereas when it comes to the Blood Angels, even though I love the Ball Predator has a few limitations on it, and it really wants to be used with an assault style army. It doesn't have the flexibility to be used in many other ways. Sanguinary Guard are good in Angelic Inheritors. They're great in a Liberator Assault Group, but your Death Company really only shine in Liberator Assault Group, which is a big problem for me. Your Death Company actually, shockingly enough and surprisingly enough, they really suck in the Death Company detachment. Gosh, that's such a travesty. Like, can we like pour one out for our homies for that freaking Death Company detachment? It's so bad. Brutally, really bad. So what I'm going to do is, honestly, I'm going to put this one as a tie. Both armies have great, great unique units. They have fantastic unique units that can be used in a variety of areas. I would say the Dark Angels are probably a little bit more flexible where they can use those units, but I would also be very, very happy to admit that your Blood Angels units are maybe even slightly better, but they're not as flexible to use, right? If that makes sense. That's basically what I'm saying. Let me catch up a chat here for just a second, guys. I'm gonna peruse here a little bit. One question: what do you think about 2x6 ICC unit? When you one with Azrael, second with the Judiciary and Librarian, dude. So I've got a Wrath of the Rock list right now where I'm running a Ancient Weapons Judiciary leading just 3 Blade Guard vets, and that unit is amazing. It is so freaking good. It breaks the charge of anything that wants to come into it. It doesn't need Oath of Moment because the Blade Guard vets give reroll 1s to hit, which means that Judiciary is just slapping whatever comes into him. And it's pretty darn cheap because it's just like, it's 95 plus 80 points, which is what? Oh gosh, why am I stupid? Oh, why am I so dumb? Someone help me with maths. 175 points. It's relatively affordable for what it does. It just puts a stop to shenanigans. So I really, really like that. Double ICC can work. I've got a double ICC Wrath list. I think I'd rather not do it, but it can totally work. Let me check a few more here. Is the Ball Predator a Blood Angel specific? Yes, it is. A Ball Predator is Blood Angel specific. Then we got the Great Ichiban. Be interested to see a compare contrast to 6-inch charge versus the Dark Eldar Witch detachment's 9-inch charge end of movement phase. Both are great strats. Yeah, dude. If you guys aren't ready for that Dark Eldar detachment strat, so check it. Check it 1-2. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, if they're within 9 inches, you can charge them. Dark Eldar can do this with Lilith Hesperax squad, which means they can just charge you at the end of your movement phase, which means if you're infantry, you're not shooting anything. If you're a unit that's looking forward to charging, guess what? You're not charging. So you can just be completely screwed on all of your positioning, which is a brutal, brutal problem. Lilith has fights first with sustained hits 2 and anti-infantry 2 up and AP 3 with, I think they can get like full rerolls to hit and wound. She will like pick up an entire freaking Deathwing Knight squad by herself, and there's nothing you can do about it because she has fights first. So if your opponent charges her, they're charging her in their turn, which means she would activate first. It's disgusting how powerful that is. It is 2 CP, which means it's heavily influenced by Kaladesh shenanigans. So it's a great strat. I do think the Wrath of the Rock strat is better because it's 1 CP. And it means that effectively it's impossible to deny you primaries. Like, if I have Azrael and he's sitting on a primary and you touch it with anything, I'm charging you, dude, and I'm going to fight first. Unless you want to charge my -1 to be hit, -1 to be wounded, 4 invulnerable save unit, that's probably going to get heroic by the Lion when I rapid ingress them in. You literally can't deny me primary. So I would say the Wrath of the Rock's ability is better, probably mainly because of the cost, but they're both just brutally efficient and powerful strats. So, yeah. Johnny, what do you think of guard spamming custodes? I think it's bad, to be honest with you. I think it's people know how to kill 3 wound infantry. I think it's just not good. So yeah, all right, let's move on. I'm gonna go to the next section here. And by the way, you guys are all awesome. Appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. Then we're gonna go on to the detachments. Now this one's I'm actually really excited to talk about. I think there's a clear winner here. So when we talk about the Dark Angels, I'm not talking about Codex Space Marine detachments because you can run Blood Angels and Codex Space Marines. You can run Dark Angels and Codex Space Marines. I don't need to waste time talking about, oh, who's better in Gladius. They're both perfectly fine in Gladius, right? So let's talk about their unique detachments in their books. So Dark Angels have several of them. I chose 3 I'm going to talk about, and I chose 2 that I'm going to talk about in Blood Angels. The reason why I chose 3 is because I think there's 3 legit viable detachments. Now, can you play the Lions Blade Task Force? Of course. Can you play the Inner Circle Task Force? Of course. Are they good? They're just not good. They're just not good is the problem, right? But I think we've got 3 strong, playable Codex Dark Angels detachments that we can mess around with. Unforgiven Task Force. You got crazy OC shenanigans, and you got amazing tactical flexibility. A lot of people overlook this detachment. And I think it's overlooked because when Dark Angels Codex was released, there were some points things, and the Lion wasn't very good, where people just went, it sucks. And maybe it kind of did suck at that moment, but no one ever revisited. Since I'm a new inductee to the League of Secrets, though, I think I've been looking at it, and I've seen some pretty cool stuff that you can do with Unforgiven Task Force. So let me break it down for you, okay? Unforgiven Task Force, you have a stratagem that just gives you lethal hits in shooting or fight phase. And if anything in your army happens to be battle shocked, anything, you get crits on 5s. That means I can lead a unit of Stern Guard with Azrael. I can give them sustained hits because they're led by Azrael. I can spend 1 CP to give them lethal hits. People say lethal hits are anti-synergistic with Stern Guard. Not when you have sustained hits, they're not. And then if anything in my army happens to be battle shocked, I'm getting those crits on 5s. Which means I'm killing anything in the game with that, with full rerolls to hit. It's one of the most disgusting things in the world. I have pulled off the rapid ingress heroic intervention with the Lion. I spent 1 CP to give him lethal hits. So now with his sweep attack, it's 16 attacks with lethal and sustained hits, rerolling 1s to hit, rerolling 1s to wound at strength 6, AP2, damage 2, and if anything's battle shocked, it's getting crits on 5s. I've had that go off and dealt like 48 damage to a knight. It's disgusting how powerful you can make Unforgiven. The shoot back strat is actually relatively valuable. I really like the Storm Raven in this detachment to actually deliver my Azrael brick. And it's actually done really, really interesting things for me. The fact that you can't be you can be battle shocked, but you can't have OC 0. Like, if you get hit by a crazy Shadow in the Warp, I think Unforgiven Task Force is legit a good detachment. It's not quite Gladius good, so I'm not gonna don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's Gladius good, but it is a good detachment that is very playable. You can take it to a GT and win with it. Company of Hunters, if you have the brain to run a million freaking bicycles, then yeah, you're gonna do great with it. Oh, by the way, this is my Lion, if anyone cares. I did not paint this guy though. Shettle, my admin for my Discord, painted it. I shouldn't have let him because I scored an excellent painting score at the WCW last year. He being a mere peasant, only scored an acceptable paint score. I have no idea how that happened. I'm a terrible painter. His models look so much better than mine. It was just a hilarious thing I like to make fun of him for. But yeah, this dude's freaking beautiful. He's so sick. He's so sick. Now this is what my painting looks like for those of you who care at all. This is my Dante, and he kind of looks like he's wearing clown makeup. He was supposed to look kind of like a ghost with some highlights, and it turns out he just has like gold nipples, and he's a clown. So that's my paint job, for what it's worth. All right, let's talk about Company of Hunters. Advance and shoot on everything. Basically, everything in your army is more or less effectively always in Devastator Doctrine. That's just good. Like, Space Marines have good shooting. They like to advance and shoot. And then if you're like Ravenwing, then you also get Advance and Charge. So this is where you really want to be, where you can spam Azure or Samael with his Outriders and things. This is where you can get a big scout move with the Chaplain. This is where you can do some really cool stuff. It's a super strong detachment. I don't play it just because I don't even own bikes because I hate bikes. But it's a good detachment, and I've got clients who have done really well. I've got clients who have just gone and swept GTs with them. So we've made some pretty good plans with them, and it's been really, really cool. Actually, this is a great moment to plug services. If you want coaching, links down below. Hit me up. Love to help you reach your goals in Warhammer 40,000. Done with that. Carrying on. Let's talk about the Wrath of the Rock, which I think is one of the best detachments in the entire game. This thing is brutal. It has an answer to absolutely everything. I've got Advanced Shoot and Charge. If you Ravenwing, you can fall back, shoot and charge. I'm not running Ravenwing in my army right now, but if you had them, you could do it. it has a 2 CP stratagem to get a new Oath of Moment target. That's really good, especially if you include captains who can, discount stratagems. Especially if you have CP generation like Azrael, because we're always going to take Azrael, so you will have CP freaking generation, right? Then you've got a stratagem for Armor Contempt. It's just really, really good. Then you've got a stratagem for +1 OC if you start the turn in engagement range. Interestingly enough, this stratagem, which a lot of people overlooked and said is not that useful, is incredibly useful when you combine it with the other stratagem, which is one of the best strats in the entire game. At the end of your opponent's charge phase, if you are within 6 inches of a Deathwing unit or 3 inches of any other unit, you can charge them. This means I can take my 5 OC Deathwing Knights. At the end of your turn, I can charge you. And then in my command phase, after I've killed half your squad, I'll just give my unit +1 OC. So now I'm OC 10, not OC 5. Now you have not denied my primary, and I have killed you in your turn. This is brutally efficient. It's so freaking powerful. It's an unreasonable combination. So I absolutely love it. And don't forget, I like to use the Ancients and Terminator armor to give my Deathwing Knights +1 OC. So then they go to OC 3. They can even go to OC 4 if you use that stratagem in both command phase. So it can even be used to deny your opponent primary, which I do all the freaking time. So Wrath of the Rock is probably one of the best armies in the entire game at primary denial. And that's a really, really, really strong selling point. And then lastly, they have the +2 strength to infantry or mounted units, weapons, which is really, really freaking good, man. Like, I don't know if you've heard about my Desolation Marines, but with +2 strength, that's like +2 to wound on on freaking orcs. Dude, I actually shot this Desolation Marine squad. I put Oath of Moment on Gazcool's unit, who was running 20 orc boys. I put Oath of Moment on it, spent 1 CP to give him +2 strength. Dude, this one unit of Desolation Marines killed 18 orc boys. It was glorious. Each one's indirect was +4, so it was 5d3 +4, and then the Vanguard was d6 +4. I killed 18 orc boys. I was winning them on 3s. They happened to be on the objective that my combi lieutenant had given reroll 1s to, and they got to reroll wound rolls of 1. The orcs just died. It was the most amazing thing ever, and I can't wait to do it again. So I love that on the Dezos. It's really good on Plasma Inceptors, because now with +2 strength, a 3-man unit of Plasma Inceptors pops a Rhino. Like, that's super, super powerful. We got Mask Rofect, and he wants to say my models are in dire need of some kit bashing. Well, freaking kit bash me a good model, man. Actually, you don't ever need to do anything for me. You're such an amazing supporter. You don't need to do anything for me, but you're probably right. I love beautiful models, by the way. I just I hate painting, so my models aren't beautiful. Although my lion looks pretty good. Shout out Shuttle. Oh, we got the Great Itchy Man. Oh, this is Andrew. Johnny is an incredible coach, as I can attest to firsthand. Even armies outside of melee pressure dominance. Get in this man's content funnel now. Oh, mwah, 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 mwah. You get so many kisses. You get so many kisses, you beautiful man. Oh, and we even have the Ancient Irish Celt in the chat now. What's up, my guy? Good to see you, buddy. Okay, so we talked about the detachments for the Dark Angels. Let's talk about the detachments for the Blood Angels. Liberator Assault Group. This is my bread and butter. I have won a lot of tournaments with this army. I freaking love this army. It's super, super good, super, super strong. It has the punching power and the speed advantages to destroy anything. I've got lethal and lance. I've got fallback, shoot and charge. I've got advanced shoot and charge. I've got when you charge me, +1 attack, +1 strength, which I love on my freaking Blade Guard veterans led by a chaplain. Which, by the way, shout out to, oh crap, what's the guy's name? John. He's got a great name. John. Blood Angel Commander. Blood Angel Commander. He did a video breaking down the math of the Blade Guard veterans led by the Fight First Chaplain. I watched that video. I started running the unit. Marvelous. Heart for you, sir. Heart for you. It was a great video. So I just wanted to give you guys a big shout out to him. His channel's not linked or anything, but he makes good content. He got me running that unit maybe, I don't know, 8 months ago, and I haven't looked back since. It's been so freaking powerful, so strong. So Liberator Assault Group has every tool you need just to annihilate your opponent. They're one of the few armies in the game that can actually just push through a Necron Warrior Blob. It's it hits so hard, it hits so fast. Dante can go like 19 inches if you roll a 6 on the advance in that unit, in that army, and then still charge it with +1 to charge. It's disgusting. I run all the characters. I go Sanguinar, Mephisto, I run all. So Liberator Assault Group, awesome melee unit. It's not the best at like primary denial, so it doesn't do what Wrath of the Rock does or some of these other armies do, but it's very, very, very aggressive. And then you have Angelic Inheritors, which is much more of a tactically flexible army. And I actually like Angelic Inheritors a lot more now since the meta has shifted. Previously, I did not like Angelic Inheritors when we were in a Knights meta where you had to be able to tap a Knight. If you don't tap a Knight, you're gonna lose the game. But Imperial Knights are not nearly the scary thing anymore as what they previously were, which makes me think that I really like Angelic Inheritors more now because you don't have to be able to one-tap the Knight necessarily anymore. I mean, you kind of do in Chaos Knights, but it's not the same because you don't have the 6-up, Feel No Pain everywhere. You only have it on one unit with a strat. So I do think that Angelic Inheritors has a lot more play now. Not that they were bad previously, but I think they're probably a lot more interesting now. So that's a really, really fascinating thing. I do want to say Speed of Milk just typed in the chat. He said he's 10 minutes behind, but he would like to mention the Dark Angels also have the Land Speeder Vengeance. You're correct. That does exist. I kind of hate it. I don't see any purpose in it. My freaking Ball Predator costs the same as a Land Speeder Vengeance. You cannot even begin to argue to me that a Land Speeder Vengeance is anywhere near the same utility. D6 plus 1 shots, even if it's Blast, does not cut it for me. I'd much rather take a unit of Inceptors. Doesn't mean the unit is necessarily bad, but it's not anything to write home about, which is why it slipped my mind and I didn't even include it. But you're not wrong. It does exist. I appreciate you bringing that up. Okay. I do want to point this out. Liberator Assault Group does actually have one of the greatest Smash captains in the game. With a Rage Fueled Warrior. So big shout to the Rage Fueled Warrior. I actually bring it on a solo Death Company captain with Jump Pack. I know that's going to sound weird to you guys, but when you put Rage Fuel Warrior on a solo Death Company captain with Jump Pack, he's 75 points. You add the 35-point enhancement on him. Now, this dude, holy crap, this dude, he goes out and he taps a War Dog. He hits with like 80% the damage of any other Death Company led by Captain unit out there, just by himself. And you don't care that he dies because he's a much, much cheaper unit. It's really easy to deliver him because he moves 12 base. You can deep strike him. You can do whatever you want with him. It means that you don't have to run the Rage Fueled Captain with the Assault Intercessors or the Stern Guard on foot because now you don't have to spend the 80 points on the Impulsor. He's 5 points cheaper than the normal Captain is. You actually don't even need to spend points on the unit that's attached to him, and he still goes in and does the same thing, basically. So I love it on a solo Death Company captain. He's still really good on a normal captain. Don't get it twisted there. I have had him get like 18 freaking power fist attacks because of his sustained hits 3. It's disgusting, but I love it on that solo character. There's a interesting Smash captain in Wrath of the Rock as well that you can run on a foot captain because he will get like +2 strength, +1 AP, and +1 damage to his fist. So that is one heck of a finest hour moment as well. So just interesting thing. But anyway, Verdict is in. So I really think that Blood Angels win on characters. I think we're a tie on unique units. And my verdict for the detachments, I think the Dark Angels just kind of beat the brakes off of the Blood Angels in detachments. I think the Dark Angels are just kind of the clear winner. They've got more variety. They got more ways to play the game. They don't rely on just brute force and dice rolls winning the games. I do believe Dark Angels just straight up have better detachments. I know people are going to say, oh, he's sinning because Liberator Assault Group, all this stuff. I got to be honest with you, man. Since I picked up Dark Angels, I'm trying to figure out what everyone's been complaining about for the last while. To be fair, I picked him up since the Lion was buffed, and I'm sure that's a really big deal. I'm sure that's a really, really big deal. Yeah. Levi Blackwell says I'm sleeping in the LSV. I don't know if I'm sleeping or if I'm in a freaking coma, because, bro, that thing needs to prove itself to me, because I don't see it, homie. Maybe make a video and, like, I don't know, break it down for me, because I don't freaking see it. Okay, meta threats. Let's talk about meta freaking threats here. I see Dark Angels having better gameplay into your Chaos Knights, into your AdMech, and into your T-Suns. This is a really, really big thing. Especially if you guys don't know, but those T-Suns right now are a really big problem with those 30 Scarab Occult Terminators. It's a very, very big issue that's really gonna light people up. I played a random TTS game, and I wasn't ready. Just some random guy online. I don't even know who he was. Super nice guy though. I had a blast with him. He was really good at the game. So I got humbled real fast because I was like, Oh, I know what I'm doing over here. No, no. Homeboy spanked me so hard with those 30 Occult Scarab Terminators. If you're not ready for what that army can do, you probably got to get educated. I really need to bring my dude on, who can actually just break it down for you guys. Maybe I should do that for a live stream next week where we can break that army down because it's something that needs to happen. But anyway, um, Dark Angels are going to be way better into the Scarab Occults than your Blood Angels will. Just the ability to get the Lion where he needs to be. He's got his loan up. You've got 4-up in Feel No Pains against mortals all over the place. It gives you so much more staying power against the Scarab Occult Terminators than what you're expecting. Your 2-up armor saves on your Deathwing Knights with your -1 damage is a massive deal. Whereas your Sanguinary Guard just get one-tapped by their missiles all over the time. So I think that is a huge deal. Even though people don't think T-Suns are a big threat in the meta right now, you're wrong. Specifically, this 30 Terminator Scarab Occult Terminator build is a huge threat in the meta. AdMech is one of the best armies in the game right now. If you can't handle their pressure with their crazy amount of dev wounds and all AP2 and all their shooting, ignoring cover and all this stuff, and their sustained hits and Twin Linked freaking Iron Strider Ballistari, you're screwed. Now, I don't think Blood Angels are bad into AdMech, but Dark Angels are definitely better into them, and that is a very big deal. Chaos Knights are one of the big boogeymans in the meta right now. If you can't handle the triple despoiler with double Gatling Cannon builds, because each one of those is going to be 36 shots of strength 6, AP2 damage 2. It's going to be either sustained or lethal. It's probably going to ignore cover. If you can't handle that stat check, things are going to go wrong for you really fast. Really fast. So you need to be able to handle these things. And Dark Angels is definitely going to be better at handling all of those threats. When I have a -1 to be wounded unit of freaking Deathwing Knights, a Despoiler is going to kill one Deathwing Knight. It's that profound. You're going to kill one. Okay, you can kill one Deathwing Knight versus basically picking up a unit of Sanguinary Guards. So that is a huge deal. And then you look at the Custodes and Orcs matchups. While Custodes are not very good in the meta right now, it's still a stat check that you got to be able to handle. If you can't handle it, then you just can't handle it. So it's something you have to be cognizant of, and I do think that you should pay attention to it. They just kind of splash when they run into freaking into Dark Angels. They just splash when you go into Dark Angels. Can't handle Deathwing Knights. They hate the -1 to be hit on your freaking Inner Circle companions. The Lion shuts them down. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. And then Orcs, same issues. Orcs can basically do nothing against Deathwing Knights. The Lion's a huge problem for them. Now, they do have the 2 CP fight on Death to handle it, but they can't push through Dark Angels like they can push through Blood Angels. I know, so, you know, Orcs is like, so I play Orcs, and then I'm playing like Marines, and that's really my armies right now. I know I'm a Custodes player as well, but I kind of hate Custodes in 10th edition, even though I love them at 9th edition. I generally beat Blood Angels when I play Orcs. Doesn't mean Blood Angels can't beat Orcs, but I generally beat Blood Angels when I'm playing Orcs. Dark Angels beat Orcs. It's kind of that clear cut, a difference. But then we see Blood Angels, and Blood Angels handle some things better than Dark Angels handle. So, for example, Blood Angels are much better into your CSM builds. They're much better into your Tyranids builds. They're much better into your Guard builds, and they're generally speaking better into your Elf builds. Now, I will say, since I've been adding the Desolation Marines to Dark Angels, I haven't been having any problems with Elves, but Elves hate Ball Predators. They hate. I can't, how many times can I say hate? Elves hate Ball Predators. And the trick, if you're having a problem with Elves and you're a Blood Angel player, first off, you need to be running 2 of our big sweaty balls. Just put your 2 sweaty balls on the table. Enjoy it, because that's going to crush the world. Oh, I need another drink. Let's see. I have a drink right here. Hello. I was a smart boy. I prepared for my stream. Skål. So, what you do is you take your Ball Predator and you sprint that bad boy up the field. And you kill whatever he gives you. It doesn't matter what unit he gives you. If he gives you Rangers, great. Kill the Rangers. Doesn't matter at all. And then you stay where you are. And you know for a fact that next turn, he will destroy your Ball Predator. But what you're going to do, super smart, super sneaky, is whatever unit he gives you to Overwatch, kill it immediately. Doesn't matter what unit he puts in front of you, just kill it. don't try to save your Overwatch for a important unit later on, because no matter what, he will always turn off the Overwatch, because elves have the ability to say, no, you can't Overwatch one unit. He will turn it off on the unit that you really want to Overwatch. So don't bother saving it for them, because they'll just turn it off, and then you won't get to Overwatch anyone, because he'll just kill you. So what you do is you just kill anything. And once your Ball Predator goes in and picks up 2 of his units, 1 in your turn, 1 in his turn, now you're winning a trading war against elves. And that is a really, 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 really big problem for them. And then the next turn, do it again. Once you've traded 2 Ball Predators for 4 elf units, he's in a really bad way. That's when you run in with freaking Dante and you tag everything and you drop and you kill all your stuff. Do it that way, you're going to have a much better time. So yeah, you've got shockingly good Overwatch. You've got a huge speed advantage. Blood Angels are there. This is something that I'm going to say which is going to be pretty controversial here. And I actually want to hear you guys' opinions. Actually, type your opinions on this one down here, okay, guys? Because I do want to know what you have to think about this. I personally believe that Blood Angels are better into the meta than Dark Angels. But Dark Angels are better into the top. That's where my brain is right now. I think Blood Angels overall are going to be better into the meta. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying all Dark Angels players and all Blood Angels players. I'm talking about potential of the armies themselves. I think Blood Angels will have a generally better time into the majority of the field than Dark Angels will. But Dark Angels are going to be fine into the whole field, and they're going to be better into the top. That is my current theory. I'm willing to accept that I could be wrong on this. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Like, don't really know. If you guys agree, I'm really curious. So let's see. Let me check. I'm gonna check on some chat here real fast, guys. Let me pull up my phone. Gosh, my contacts are getting dry. Hit the like button if you have dry contacts. Fuck. Garen M. He says, seems like with Desolation, you won't have problems with Guard, Elves, or Tyranids. Yeah, there's a reason why I put Desolation's Marines into my army, bro, because it gets rid of a lot of the big weaknesses for Dark Angel. Because the big problem for Dark Angels, and maybe a little bit Blood Angels, but not as much, the big problem for Dark Angels is they trade terribly. We're terrible at trading units. Desolation Marines mean that you don't have to trade for the chaff anymore. Blood Angels can actually have a lot more units. Like, I've got really effective Liberator Assault Group Blood Angels armies that give me 15 independent units. I cannot get above 11 in Dark Angels. So it's like, Dark Angels suck at trading. Desolation Marines solve that problem. Blood Angels don't have a problem with trading, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's why I added that in there. Chris 4943, Chaos Knights with Rodicus or the Plague Bearers? They work really well either way. I think with Rodicus is better in teams, because Rodicus is so dang fat, you almost always want to have board choice on him to actually move him. And he said he's in between those lists for a tournament, and it's today, and you got to lock it in. If it's a singles tournament, I would go Plague Bearers, Beast, and Nurglings. If it's teams, I would lock in your Rodicus. So go with that, buddy. Hey, Johnny, last TTS match you played AdMech, your 2 Lancers did basically nothing. Did you rethink anti-tank? I totally rethought it, and I landed on the decision that I'm correct. And I played that game poorly, and Ian played it really, really well. So that's a perfect example of what happens when you approach a game a little overconfident and you do a poor job, and then your opponent plays well and he slaps you. It happens to the best of us. It happens to everyone. Oh, we got a big super chat from The Epic Llama. The Epic Llama? You are an epic llama, my friend. You're the most epic llama I've ever met in my life. He's running Dark Angels into Custodes vehicle spam list tomorrow. Do you mean Solar Spearhead? Because if it's Solar Spearhead, that's cool. Basically, his vehicles are going to be relatively good into your knights. Your ICC will one-tap any vehicle he has, and the Lion will one-tap well, he won't one-tap anything, but he's going to go commit war crimes upon him. Don't get bogged down into the Telemons. It's just not good for your soul. If you have Stern Guard with Azrael, then you're going to be able to pick up his guys relatively easily. So, there you go. Max von Rosa. I don't trade as a Dark Angel player. I kill and hope I survive. Fair play. Fair play. All right, guys. So here's my verdict on this one. Blood Angels are better in the meta right now, but Dark Angels are better into the top. So I'm gonna finalize it there. All right, let's talk about some unique strengths here. And I'm kind of starting to wind down here. So if you guys have questions, and by the way, man, I'm like I said, I'm up right now. I'm willing to hang out for like another 30 minutes. So I can even hop on TTS and help out with stuff. Super chats are super appreciated, but you know what? I'm just here. So if you guys got questions, freaking ask me. I got you. I love you all for like hanging out with me and giving me your Saturday evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. So I'm here. Section 5, unique strengths. Dark Angels. What are the strengths of the armies? The reality is, your Dark Angels have the ability to play the game and, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little exclusive to Wrath of the Rock now because Wrath of the Rock is by far the best detachment, and it just is. Wrath of the Rock can play the game in a way that no other army in the entire game can play. Wrath of the Rock can literally just send 5 scouts out to deny your natural expansion one time, and then make it literally impossible for you to ever take my home field. The only way you could ever take my home field is if you charge into Deathwing Knights and get heroics by a lion, survive all of that, and then somehow out OC me when I increase my OC by 1 in my command phase. That's it. If you put crazy OC on the objective and you don't charge me, I'm just going to charge you. So you can't out OC me, which means you can't deny my primary. Which means the second I've denied your primary, I've won the primary game. And now you have to take a crazy risk to try to hold the center, which means I get to converge on you without really risking anything. And that's a bad place to be. So Wrath of the Rock has incredible durability. We've got some of the best primary control in the entire game. I'm not going to say it's the best in the entire game, but dang, is it close. It's so good. It's so unique what we can do with that. It's so freaking unique. And then we've got really good leaders in terms of like Azrael. Like Azrael just, man, it's the best combat buff in the entire game, dude. It's really hard to argue that. If you put ancient weapons on a Judiciar, oh my gosh, that dude just punishes people. Like he makes the Emperor of Mankind. He makes the Emperor of Mankind want to stay on that freaking throne. Is what he does. That's what he does. I mean, that Strength 9, AP 3, Damage 3, Dev Wound weapon. Ugh. Especially if you want to lead him with like Stern Guard and you get like your rerolls or even normal Assault Intercessors. It's just so powerful. I like running him with Blade Guard because they give him the Deathwing keyword, so now he can defend and detach an objective. So if you stand on there, he gets to charge you with White's Verse and all this. Like, ugh, it just gets so intense. Then we go for the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels they've got the damage. They can reach out and touch you no matter where you are, and they can just screw you up. They've got incredibly high mobility. They get to choose when you engage. Dark Angels don't always get to choose when you engage. We've got one unit that can advance a charge in Wrath, but outside of that, maybe if you're Gladius, you can kind of do it with an advance and charge turn. But that's about it. Stormlance, but you're still base move 5 with your Deathwing Knights. It's not particularly that reliable to deliver. Blood Angels get to choose when the fighting happens, and that's a very big deal. Also, with the use of like the Sanguinor, they get to be like, hey, bro, I have a Sanguinor, which means sometimes you literally just can't charge my army. Because it doesn't matter where you charge me, the Sanguinor comes down, screws all your pylons and consolidates up, kills a 5-man unit of Warp Talons or whatever. It's a really bad place to be if you're trying to charge 1 or 2 units. So the Blood Angels can really control the battlefield in terms of when and where engagements happen. They've got the best lone ops in the entire game between the Sanguinor and the Mephiston. By the way, here's another tip for you guys. If you don't see a great place to bring the Sanguinor in for like combat, and you know your opponent's setting up and they're not going to charge you, like at the end of your movement phase, you see they're not really charging you, just rapid ingress him onto a objective in no man's land outside of 12.1 inches of anyone. Boom, for free, you're going to hold that primary. You get primary for free. It's so strong. I do that with the Lion as well, by the way. So if you're a Dark Angel player, you can do that with the Lion. Just make sure you're within 3 inches of an infantry squad. Kind of like I showed earlier when I went to TTS. I kind of showed you guys how to set that up. Do that. It's freaking amazing. So yeah, that's where I see our real unique strengths there. Let me check up a chat here for a second. Thanks for bringing so much amazing 40k content. Hey, man, that's super sweet of you. Appreciate you, bud. Hope you have an amazing and blessed evening. William Marsh, what do you think about Grav Captain with ancient weapons leading 3-man erratic? That is a really interesting idea. William Marshall. Or William Marsh. All right, so this is actually interesting. What do I think about the Grav Captain with ancient weapons? Because I love that character. I ran him at my major. He did awesome for me. What do I think about him leading Eradicators, though? Because in this detachment, we can give advance and charge and shoot to Eradicate. Is that interesting? Because then he could, like... I don't know, dude. Is that interesting? Bro, that's actually really interesting. I'm going to have to think on that one. I really appreciate you saying that. It's just literally nothing I had considered. I'm going to consider that one. I can see how that might actually be really interesting. An ancient weapons Grav Captain with Eradicators. So you could advance a charge, get your meltas, pop the thing, charge in, cause some problems. I'm going to have to think about that one. That's a good question, dude. That's a legit good question. I like that a lot. Okay. Then we got Max Von Rosa. I played with my friend yesterday. Dark Angels versus Black Templars and Azrael plus 10 Stern Guards. Did some work. Captures point and survive. Yeah, dude. I like the Stern Guards, man. I'm actually really considering just 5 Stern Guards with Azrael as well. I think the question is this. Do you really want to not be able to kill the 20-man Necron Warrior Blob? Because the only unit in Dark Angels that can kill the 20-man Necron Warrior Blob that can just push through it would be the ICC. If you don't care about that, then you can probably just run 5 Stern Guard with Azrael and be happy. So, yeah. Okay, then section checks. Here's the guy, guys. I want to know, and so basically this is more or less all I had to say. I think Blood Angels are probably generally better into the game as a whole, but Dark Angels are better into the top of the meta. I think Blood Angels have better characters. I think Dark Angels have much better detachments, and much better is probably a little extreme. They have better detachments, and I think both armies have really good unique characters. I think both are better than generic Marines. I know people are really big on Talonmark right now. I think Talonmark for generic Marines is really, really strong. But I'm not leaning towards Talonmark. Right now for the World Championships, I'm kind of torn between whether I want to go Dark Angels or Orcs. I think those are the two that I'm really torn between because I think Orcs are really, really good right now as well. And I always have a blast with the boys. Double Battle Wagon plus Gads is really, really nice. But I think... so, yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to go right now. But if I was going to go Marines, it would either be Blood Angels or Dark Angels. Even though I've got Cave on Strike, I got Ethan Chan, whatever his name is. I got him. I love him. I think that's a cool detachment. Dark Angels are really strong right now. Blood Angels are really strong right now. I think Dark Angel players have just been beat over the head with mediocrity for the last, 2 years, just due to how bad the book was on release and how bad the win rate has been looking. That the win rate has just continued to tumble. I think there's a lot more there though, so I'm really excited to be coming into it so that I could kind of maybe bring a little more energy. And you probably don't need me to bring the energy. I know that sounded conceited as shit. That wasn't my intention, but I think there's a lot more juice to squeeze out of that Dark Angel Codex than what we've seen. Blood Angels, I think we basically got it figured out, man. There's a couple different ways to run them. If you like ball predators, put your red balls on the table. You should always put your red balls on the table. Very important. If you don't, then don't. But you're wrong. But I want to know, guys, what do you guys think? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Is it Dark Angels or Blood Angels? Who's the true Angel and Emperor? Who's the true Angel and Emperor? Because I'm going to hang out for another 10-15 minutes. So I got chats here. I'm happy to, if you guys got questions about mechanics of the game, throw it in there. Do what you need to do. Okay, so let me check chat here for a little bit. I didn't play against Blood Angels, but I constantly play against Dark Angels, and I have Demons, and it's impossible for me to win them in melee combat. Yeah, dude, Demons are going to do nothing into Dark Angels for melee combat. It's just not going to happen. Isante says, if I don't bring Orcs to the WCW, I'm a scared boy. Listen, dude, you're not necessarily wrong. I am a little bit of a scared boy. If you play Marines, Shadow, or Black Templars are better options. I think Black Templars, while they probably have the raw stats to just do great work, I think they're too easy to counter. So I'm not saying you have a bad take there or anything. I think they're too easy to counter. I think Shadow Mark is a legit option for Marines. I'm not talking shit out about it at all. I just think I'd rather go Dark Angels or Blood Angels. Um, Garanim. Actually, you reopened Dark Angels for me. Oh, that's cool, man. Ah, that's sick, dude. I'm really, really happy. Really, really glad we got you able to get back into it. William Marsh says Dark Angels are the guys who win. 88 Vorheit says Blood Angels all day. Blood Angels has a problem into World Eaters. What? What's the problem that Blood Angels have into World Eaters? Ah, I see. If you think Blood Angels have a problem into World Eaters, it's because you're not running Ball Predators, my friend. You should run Ball Predators. It makes the world much easier. It makes the world much, much better. Like, I mean, Sanguinary Guard are nightmares for World Eaters. It's the worst thing in existence. -1 to hit and -1 to wound and a 2-up armor save with armor contempt and a 4-up invuln. It's the last thing that World Eaters ever want to see. I don't know. Like, I hear people say this, but it's like, I don't know, dude. I have crushed some World Eater players with my Blood Angels. Just run more balls. Put your balls on the table. You'll be happier. Mark Von Rosa. From what I understand, Blood Angels and Dark Angels have kind of opposite gameplay. Blood Angels are aggressive, jumping into faces. Very true. And Dark Angels stay and survive and score objectives. Also very true. I think that's actually a really good way to put it. Dark Angels are there forcing you to bring the fight to them, whereas Blood Angels are there forcing you to get charged, forcing themselves upon you. That's actually probably a really good way to phrase it. Well done. I like that. Lion is strong into Raven Guard. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Lion's real good into Raven Guard. But Raven Guard's also really good into Lion. Like, don't get it twisted, bro. A 6-man unit of Bolter Inceptors that drop down and shoot the Lion with +1 to wound and AP2, that'll kill the Lion. I mean, I guess if you're in cover and you armor contempt, you might live, but that's nothing I would want to mess with. Like, Shadow Mark into that's a tricky little Vicky right there. We got some questions here. 2 questions on the gravity Gravis captain. Would the Eradicators buff the captain? And could you explain the half the damage rule? I'm not sure what you mean. Eradicators do not buff the captain in any way. No. Half the damage rule. Yeah, sorry, dude. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Gladius Dark Angels? I wouldn't say running Gladius Dark Angels, man. Listen, dude, I'm telling you, Wrath of the Rock is the way. And then we got Mr. Shield Pilled here. Turns out I came 3rd in the tournament today. Tabled World Eaters and beat Death Guard as Liberated Assault Group Blood Angels. There you go, Przeski, who's, I'm sorry, I ruined your name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just can't pronounce your name. There we go. We got it. So guys, I think this is it, man. I hope this was good for you. I hope you guys enjoyed me kind of like breaking down some of the Dark Angels versus Blood Angels things. I think they're both in a really good place in the game. I think they're both actually really, really sick. And there's some dope stuff that you can do with them. I think Dark Angels for me are the way to go right now, even though I love me some Blood Angels, and it makes me really sad every time I'm packing up my go bag with my Dark Angels to see my Blood Angels sitting behind. But Blood Angels are pretty freaking good there. Real quick, the tallest gnome. Oh, sorry. I was trying to read on my screen. I got to read my phone. My freaking. Oh, dude, I'm 35. I'm not old. I swear. Not that old. I still can't freaking see anymore though. Would you still consider double tanks and Blood Angels? I like single Vindicator or double Ballistas maybe. Yeah, dude. I think you have to have the ability to pop vehicles. Like, you don't want to send your Sanguinary Guard to go kill battle tanks. That's just not a good plan. Sanguinary Guard going into Vergodorns is not going to end well for you. Is one army better than the other on different train setups? Nah. They're both pretty equally good on both GW or WTC or UKTC. By the way, I don't hate UKTC terrain anymore. I know people like to talk crap about UKTC terrain. I don't hate it. I've been helping a lot of UK. I've been doing a lot of coaching with UK guys recently, and like UKTC terrain seems awesome. Like, the staging points are unbelievable. They're incredible. Yeah, there's some pretty big firing lanes, but if you're a melee player, dude, the melee staging on UKTC is freaking supreme. So I don't hate that at all. Have you ever used a Dark Shroud for the -1 to hit in any meaningful way? No. I've tried it, man. It's just, dude, it's 100 points for a unit that, like, you have to keep hitting all game because it's going to die instantly. And then you lose the -1 to hit aura. And then it's like, I don't know. I can't figure out how to make it work. Maybe I'm just dunce. Maybe I'm just too dense for it. How good are JPI plus Captain for Dark Angels? Eh. If I was gonna do it, I'd do the Captain with Vanguard Vets so that you could use, because Vanguard Vets would give you the Deathwing keyword, so that then you can like use your Leonine aggression into combat. How to deal with these armies if your army is melee and not as good as these two? Bro, realistically, grab your ankles because these armies are gonna run over you. Demons hate both of these armies. If you're a demon player, you're pretty screwed against both these armies, in my opinion. I don't think you have much play into either one of them. I think Blood Angels are going to run through you. I think Dark Angels are going to run through you. I think your best hope is that you just throw freaking the Greater and Clean one in the center, and you run the Lord of Change with the Everstaff to start blasting. I think that's probably your best bet. Guys, I'm going to end it there. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm gonna do one more live stream before I leave for Worlds. I think next week it's either gonna be an Orcs game, or I'll be doing maybe a stream where I'm breaking down like that new T-Suns list. Hopefully you guys all join for whichever one it is. But I do want to get some Orcs on screen for Orktober. I think it's calling me. I need to get some Orcs on the table for Orktober. So it's calling for me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So that's gonna be next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will be checking in daily while I am in Atlanta at the World Championships, and I'll be doing like my morning prep sessions. So I kind of like how I did last year. I'm going to show you guys how I prep every day for the individual matches, so that you guys can kind of get an inside look at that. Yeah. And Orcs and Coffee. Yeah, the podcast name, Orcs and Coffee, baby. So with that, guys, thanks all much. I hope you all have an amazing day. Blessings, and we'll crump with you next time. Crump on. Bye-bye.